All right, let's pull back the curtain on one of the most demanding, most secretive military selections on the entire planet. We're going to look at the process that forges operators for the US Army's top-tier unit, an organization so clandestine the government itself will often deny it even exists. Let's dive in.
And you know, that quote right there gets to the absolute heart of this unit's identity. We've all heard of the Navy SEALs, right? But deltaforce, they operate in the deepest shadows, and that is completely by design. This secrecy isn't just a cool preference, it's a fundamental part of how they operate.
So, who exactly are these secret soldiers? What makes them so different from every other elite unit we know about? Well, it all starts with how they're picked.
What's really wild is where they recruit from. See, even though it's technically an Army unit, Delta pulls the absolute best from every single branch of the military. We're talking Marines, Navy, Air Force, you name it. They are looking for a very, very specific type of person, and they will cast the widest possible net to find them. Their mission is the absolute tip of the spear: high-stakes hostage rescue and direct action missions.
So twice a year, a new selection course kicks off, and about 100 of the most accomplished, most decorated soldiers, sailors, and Marines in the entire US military show up, all of them hoping they have what it takes.
And this is what's left after a few grueling weeks. It's staggering. In some selection courses, only a tiny handful will make it through. One former operator said his class started with 150 candidates. Only 4 were selected. Another course famously selected just 1 person. The attrition rate is just astronomical.
That incredible attrition rate brings us to the first major phase of selection, a brutal, solitary ordeal that's designed to strip a person down to their absolute core.
Okay, so here's the key difference between Delta and pretty much every other Special Forces unit out there. Most selections are all about breaking you down as a team, right? You're carrying logs, paddling boats, suffering together. Not here. Delta selection is an entirely individual event, and that's not by accident. They're looking for self-reliant problem solvers who don't need someone yelling at them for motivation. There's no team, there's no instructor in your face, it is just you, a map, a compass, and a clock.
Day 1 is basically a meat grinder. It's designed to just chew people up. Candidates get hit with a series of tests, one right after the other. And it all culminates in an 18-mile ruck march with a 45-pound pack after they've already done a punishing fitness test. If you failed to meet the time on any single one of these events, you are immediately sent packing. No second chances. You're just gone.
Now try to put yourself in this headspace for a minute. For weeks on end, this is your reality. During the land navigation phase, you're given almost zero information. The instructors are like robots. They don't talk to you, they don't smile. You are forced to deal with constant, crushing ambiguity and pressure, which is the whole point. They have to see if you can function, if you can make good decisions, when no one is telling you what to do, all while you're physically falling apart.
And this right here is the crucial idea. The whole course is designed for you to find your own limits. The instructors aren't there to push you past your breaking point. They're just there to watch as you push yourself to that point, and then beyond it, just to see what kind of decisions you make when you have absolutely nothing left in the tank.
And this is the result. Days and days of constant movement through brutal terrain, in miserable weather. It takes a massive toll. You're soaked, you're freezing, you're losing weight, you're collecting injuries. Your body is just wrecked. And this is exactly the state they want you in.
And just when you think you literally cannot go any further, they hit you with the final test, the 40-miler. It is the longest march with the heaviest pack on the very day that you were at your absolute weakest. It is the ultimate gut check. It's designed to see if there's anything at all left inside you. Now, for the very, very few who somehow survive this physical gauntlet, the test isn't over. Not even close. In fact, you could say the most important part is just getting started. Welcome to the board. This quote just captures the shift in thinking perfectly. The physical part proved you have the grit, you have the will, that you will never, ever quit. But that's just the raw material. Now, they need to find out if you can think. Can you solve problems under extreme pressure and actually do the job of an operator?
Just imagine this for a second. After weeks of being isolated and physically tormented, you're finally cleaned up and put in a room. You sit alone, in a single chair, facing a semicircle of the unit's most senior leaders and their psychologists. The pressure in that room must be absolutely immense.
And then they just grill you. They fire off question after question,
probing for any weakness in your character, any flaw in your judgment. They want to see how you think, how you handle that intense stress, and ultimately, if you have the very unique psychological makeup that this kind of work requires.
So if you manage to pass the board, and that is a massive if, you are still not a Delta operator. Nope, you've only earned the right to start training. Welcome to the 6-month-long Operator Training Course, or OTC.
And this is the critical transition. Selection was all about individual performance. Can you survive? OTC is all about the team. Can you learn their tactics? Can you integrate into a small unit that operates at the highest possible level? Can you run their plays their way, flawlessly, every single time?
And the training is unbelievably intense, especially the close quarters battle drills. They basically create environments of pure sensory overload. I mean, imagine this. You've got loud music blaring, strobe lights flashing, flashbangs and breaching charges going off all around you, and you have to shoot past live role players to hit moving targets like robots or even, live chickens, all while maintaining perfect awareness of where your teammates are. It's just controlled chaos. After 6 months of that kind of intensity, the graduates finally earn the title of deltaforce operator. But as they soon find out, joining an operational team is just the beginning of a whole new and very humbling challenge.
This is something almost every single new operator experiences. You've just survived the hardest selection and training in the entire world. You feel like you're on top of your game, and then you meet the veterans on your new team. And you very quickly realize you have a long way to go to even come close to their skill level.
And this kind of gives you a sense of that skill gap. A new guy is considered incredibly fast and proficient. A veteran on the team, he's sprinting at full speed while making pinpoint headshots. Now you combine that skill level with what one operator called Terminator shit. Think advanced weapon systems with like 7 layers of thermal and digital tracking, feeding data right into their optics. It's almost beyond comprehension. And that standard is just absolutely relentless. Even after you've made it onto a team, you are constantly being evaluated. There is no tenure in Delta Force. If you can't maintain that superhuman pace, you're cut. It's nothing personal. It's just the reality of operating at that level.
And that brings us right back to where we started, doesn't it? The secrecy. For every single mission that we eventually hear about years later, you have to wonder, how many dozens more are there that will remain classified forever? This entire brutal, year-long process exists for one reason: to create a small handful of individuals capable of solving problems the world will never even know existed.